Pennies Going in Raw is a production of iHeartRadio. The opinions expressed in the following podcast are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security or investment product. It is only intended to provide education and entertainment about the financial industry and the stock market. Enjoy!
On this episode of Pennies Going in Raw, we discuss SPY, FOMC, and TD Ameritrade.
You find out life's this game of pennies.
Oh, you guys know we only have a 40% runner. Hello, 40% is a fucking killing.
We've been compliant for too long. It's time we go to war.
I don't have a Roth.
Hugh knows so much about the market that his brain doesn't have enough room for grammar.
Hey, who told me about IDEX? It's going up a shit ton now.
Rob, 4%, baby. No way. 4 fucking percent.
You asked the exact same question with 2 words different.
It's like, man, I just got dick whipped for like 20%, and now that f***er's up like 50.
I bet Warren Buffett never did that.
I'm just making this voice memo to call out unusual whales to a fight.
The pennies we need are everywhere around us.
Pennies
Going in Raw.
Featuring Dan, Dia Dips,
And Hugh, honey.
Produced by Vinny.
and Christian.
Let's go, baby.
Welcome back to another episode of Pennies Going in Raw. Today is Sunday, July 24th, and almost hit 400 on Thursday. Hit 399, or was that Wednesday? One or the other. And we saw that 396 trickle down after, or we saw it hit 396 on Wednesday right after you mentioned it. Can you kind of go over, because I saw you boasting about it on Twitter. You kind of want to go over how it worked out to your 396 plan so well.
Yeah, so the way that I had pretty much explained it on here and on Twitter was that if we had got that, bulls really didn't want to see 396, 397 and above until there was actually some volume, some consolidation. Because the way that I always think of it is that, you know, what comes up on literally zero volume can come down on zero volume. So it's one of those things where, you know, you could sit there and discuss price action and macros and stuff like that. But the only thing that really matters at the end of the day is volume. And so when you look and you see, because I saw like someone else comment underneath my post, it was like, summer's typically lower volume. Yes. So that being said, when it's below the average of the summer volume, that's basically like saying it's like you have low volume for, let's just say earnings in January to May, and then, September to December. And then you have summer volume, and then you have sorry, I'm fumbling my words. You have summer low volume. So that's like fourth removed from regular volume. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing where, you know, when you think about it like that, you know, if it takes me $3 to if it takes me, you know, if it takes $30 on SPY to get up there, but it only, you know, is on, let's just say, I don't know, 700 million shares, then what do you think 2 billion to the downside is going to do? We're going to see a move. But first off, we're going to cut through those support zones like a hot knife in butter. Like we'll be, like I said, and that's what I said, is that if we had seen 396, 397, and at that spot we didn't consolidate and we didn't see volume, we have a chance to retrace sub 375. Now we did hit 400 today, being, you know, on Friday. However, we hit 400 and it's been straight downhill. I mean, it's been down like a 1.7%. Now, I did add to my equity short position. Basically, what I covered at 370, I added back at 398.19. And again, we still have and so this is the other thing, okay? So Friday, as we're recording, it's 1:40 Eastern time. Okay. And as we're recording, first off, my SPY equity position is now flat. Of course, I had locked some gains, but now I'm back to flat. And then we're on 35 million in volume. So the same way that I wouldn't be telling bulls to get all excited because we're at 396, bears, don't get all excited that we're at 393 after hitting 400 because you're only still on low volume. And so what all this is doing is just burning the options premium and just decaying the hell out of the options. And the question is, okay, why do they do that? And that's so that market makers are selling calls, they're selling puts, and they're just screwing everybody. It's the same way when we look at like Tesla earnings. Okay, Tesla earnings had an implied movement of 7%. So that means that the average holder of a put or a call needed a 7% swing at least to break even. Now, what did Tesla do? I think it hit like 6% high and then it just chilled there. It chilled at basically flat. So that's how they screw both sides, both call and put players. That's how the market makers screw both sides, and they just collect the premium. And so this is what I'm saying is that even at this 393, do I have a short position on of equity? Yes. Did I have puts this morning? Yes. Did I have an intraday short position on Tesla and SPY? Yes. But it's nothing that I'm going to swing and sink my teeth into. Even the short equity position that I have on SPY right now is only 20% of how big I can get. There's still a chance that we see the 409. But that being said, the one thing that bears now have going for them is FOMC, because FOMC is quickly approaching, being that it's next Tuesday. And if we see a 7,500 basis points, we can truly see 370, 373 next week. That's not out of the question. Because again, is that a low volume move to the upside. If real volume comes in from FOMC to the downside, and we're gonna cut through all the levels. It won't matter if you have a massive support at 385. That won't matter. That 200 million in volume in one day is double what we're currently experiencing. I mean, hell, we're at 40 million right now. We're at 35 million. It's 142. There's less than 3 hours left inside the day. So that's or to the upside. Okay, and this might be the thing that bulls need. They kind of need like this little bit of a retrace back before going for 400. Now, if they sit here and they consolidate on real volume, they can make a real push to the upside for that 405, 409 area. Again, is that I think that we've kind of, everybody kind of knows that earnings is the thing that's going to tank or keep the market up. Same thing now with FOMC. Next up on the bulletin board is FOMC. FOMC is either going to smoke you, or when I say you, I mean the market, is either going to smoke the market or it's going to allow for another high. And that's why, in my opinion, right now, until FOMC, there's no edge right now. There's no edge in this. Now, if you think that you know that FOMC is going to come out with 50 basis points, that FOMC is going to come out with 100 basis points, again, that's fine. However, I just wouldn't sink my teeth into anything, because all of this small volume movements, even though they're 2% moves intraday, 1% moves, none of that matters once real volume comes in.
So what do you think the best and worst case scenarios for FOMC? Obviously, we've seen it in the past, and it was something like everyone is worried about. Like they're all, oh, fuck. Not the last one, but the one before, it was such a pivotal point. It doesn't seem as big of a breaking point as the last one. So what do you think the best and worst case scenarios are for this?
Yeah, so the best, okay, so when I say best, I mean, I'll be talking for the bulls. Now, as far as the bulls are concerned, they want 50 basis points, and they want the Fed to come out and say that things are going well. Inflation is slowly, inflation's hit top, they expect, and now we're going to start crawling back down. That's what they really want to hear out of the Fed, because again, is that the Fed are the ones that can truly control the market. They've had their they've had their foot on the market's neck for the last 3 months. Now, if the Fed comes out and says, hey, if the Fed comes out and says, hey, inflation's working great, we're starting to see an uptick in unemployment, we're starting to see the housing market come down, we believe that this will be our last large rate hike. So essentially, you're going to have all these new shorts after FOMC because they don't want to short, you're either going to have the crew that's shorting for FOMC or the crew waiting to short after FOMC, after the initial reaction. And so those are the guys, to me personally, that if we're sitting down at 380 and they're trying to capture that move to like 350, those are the ones that are going to be stubborn-minded and stubborn head. Yeah. And those are the ones where, you catch 200 million volume to the upside and you can be back at 390. Okay. Similar to what we kind of saw this week, where it was, of course, wasn't on big volume, but it's one of those situations where, we gap up and we grind, and then we gap up the next day and we grind up again. Those are the ones that kill shorts, because the shorts are just going to get in there bigger. So then if we just continue to grind up emotionally, mentally, fiscally, this is going to kill shorts. And we can be back up at 390, 395 pretty quickly.
I like how you went from mentally to where most people would say physically, but you went fiscally. It took me a second.
Yeah,
fiscally. It was interesting.
Thank you, brother.
Sorry, I cut you off. I was in a world of puns right there.
No, I did. I thought that I was clever for saying fiscally.
Yeah. No, I thought it was, coming from an English guru like yourself, it was definitely what to be expected.
Thanks, bro. So basically, that's the Bulls' best case scenario. Because again, is that everybody knows that this is a pretty vicious bear market. Like we talked about the last week, we rallied like 30, 35 points. That's obviously not normal. And of course it's on low volume. Everybody knows that. So everybody wants to get short, myself included. Like, I enjoy the short side up here better than the long side. But that being said, this gives the Bulls an opportunity to where if the Fed does become dovish and they become, they say that forward looking, they believe that this is the last big raise, then that's where that's where they can kind of step in. I'm talking about the Bulls, have 150, 170 million share day and, pretty much trap shorts pretty hard. And then again, is that once we get back up to this 400 level, what do you think those shorts are going to do? They're going to be sitting there chomping at the bit to add in. Now, if you have another 150 million volume day, which again, right now, it would be a massive day, then you're gonna see 409 pretty quickly. And again, is that those shorts at some point, and some tells me around that 409, if they're down 30, 40 points on SPY, they're gonna need to cover pretty soon. Especially again, is that if you have the Fed kind of backing you in the sense that you kind of have the Fed backing you in the sense of, we believe that this is our last hike, that's going to be weighing inside the back of their minds every day. Yeah. So that's basically like the best case scenario for the Bulls. Now, the Bears on the other side, they basically want the exact opposite. So, same scenario. We end today at 392, which, by the way, the puts that I had this morning, I just peaked. I'm really paper hands Hugh. So I had two sets of puts. One of them were up 45% and I cut them. The other ones I fat fingered and sold for 11%. They were trading at 580. So I bought them at 520. They're now at 23.
Damn.
So sad.
You got it.
Yeah.
Dude. Hey, you're playing it safe. You're following the strategy, and that's all that matters. You mentioned a bit ago that you like playing the short side more than long in this market. I guess, we're obviously in still kind of a bear market or rallying, whatever. But could you kind of explain that? Why do you like playing the short side? And what do you mean by like in this market?
Yeah, so when I say this market, I mean, in this market, I mean like a low volume, low liquidity,
Summer.
Overextended market.
So basically, summer,
yeah, summer where we rallied 25 points. Did I miss the rally? Hell yeah. But I'm not going to let myself FOMO. And so maybe that's bad because, when we were up 15 points, I was like, I'm not buying up here. This is too big of a rally. I'm not buying up here. And then, of course, we rallied another 15 points. But again, it's just one of those things where let's just say that I had gone long and it was, let's just say that I had hypothetically gone long. And then basically, if I had gone long and it had started to go against me, even let's just say 1-2%, I would be a mess, like mentally, I would just be a mess mentally. And I just don't do well inside those situations when it's that's why you'll never see me on gap up days, mostly going long unless we get a dip and we feel that gap down. Just like if we gap down, you're not going to see me short it unless we fill that gap to the upside. It's just not I just don't do well with those. It feels like I'm foaming, and then the second that it goes against me, I just don't do well with that. So, to your point, I like playing the short side currently because, low liquidity, low volume, we rallied really hard, on that low volume. And right now the short side feels better to me. For the last 3 years, the long side felt incredible. Literally incredible. Any dip was buyable. I could sink my teeth in. Where right now it feels like, even though we're breaking out, it feels like at any moment the breakout could fail. Kind of like if you guys go back and look at Friday morning when we went for 400. I mean, that was a nasty breakout and fail. And currently right now to the short side, you're not really seeing many of those, breakout, fail, and, come down 0.5%. So those are the type of things I look for. For me, my number one goal typically is as least stress as possible.
And I know another thing you've been talking about a lot, and I know it mainly is referring to SPY when it comes to the amount of volume and how it could get wrecked if it gets triple the amount of volume. And we've gone over this once or twice before, but what do you think, or can we go over kind of a formula to find out how much on a specific stock is good volume or not enough? Is it's float times 3, or what exactly are you looking for that?
So typically what I'm looking for on different stocks and stuff is in the volume is typically I'm taking the 30-day average, and that's what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for the 30-day average and what it's on pace for. If it isn't on pace for even half that, that's such low volume. Now, if it's 10 a.m. and we're already a third of the way there, that's pretty good relative volume. You know what I mean? That's pretty good relative volume. Now, when I'm looking at SPY, I'm looking at typically the last 3 months. The reason I look at a larger time frame for the S&P 500 is because with the summer months, it can be really deceiving. And also I like to see, we do have a lot of catalysts that come up during the summer. We have earnings, currently FOMC is big for us. So it's things like that where I want to know and I want to see, what exactly is going on and what exactly I have to look for. So it's the same thing. When I'm looking at a bear market, I'm going to go back to 2008 and I'm going to go back to similar situations. So if I'm on an individual stock, I'm looking at probably the last 30 days average volume. If I'm looking at a situation, so let's just say earnings, FOMC, I'm looking at the volume of the last 3 events that happened. So bear market, I'm looking at, .com level, I'm looking at 2008. FOMC, I'm looking at, this, I'm looking at last 3 meetings, stuff like that. And that's the way that I'm going to handle, that's the way that I typically like to look at it, because it gives me like a really good situational awareness and what to expect. But then also intraday, let's just say I'm trading S&P intraday, looking at it from 3 months gives me like less of a bias for just 1 month. Because again, is that, just because during the summer it trades 120 million shares, that could be the average for April and May. So I just want to know, what I'm kind of looking at, and, just kind of know everything about it, even if it's not useful information. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's not going to be like dead on useful information, but, it could help me, when I'm thinking about other things, so that I don't get too much of a bias. You know what I mean? Like if I see like a 200 million volume to the downside during the summer, I'm going to be really excited about that. And I might think to myself, holy shit, this is the biggest day by 3. This is the biggest volume day times 3 that we've seen inside the past month. But in reality, if you zoom out, it could just be that month, where 2 or 3 months ago, it might've been the average.
So in this market that you just described, what is your favorite setup that you, that you currently have that you use in your day trades?
Yeah. So my current favorite setup is basically, I used to anticipate trades, and I used to be the dude that used to love to anticipate trades. Now, I don't think that there's anything necessarily wrong with anticipating trades. Well, all right, let me stop myself. With smaller amounts of risk, I don't think it's the worst thing to anticipate trades, because I think that, kind of getting in there, and when I mean getting in there, I mean on the trade, is okay as long as you're dabbling with like a starter size. So let's just say like my current setup that I really like right now is on the 5-minute chart, and I'll take it from the short side, is when the stock makes it, we'll take the S&P. The S&P makes a new high, it comes down to support, it goes back up, makes another new high, and fails that exact area, and then fails through the previous support. That is my favorite current setup right now, and it's really good high risk to reward, because now my stop loss is now the high of the day. And, pretty much if, let's just say that I go up, let's just say it hits half my target. Well, now I can take some off there and then move my stop loss back to break even. And no matter what, it's going to be a winner. So that's my favorite setup inside this current market. But that being said, right now it's way more about quality over quantity of trades. The only thing with this setup, though, is that, like I was saying, is that it's quality over quantity. So I only trade maybe 5 to 6 times per week, and then the rest of it is really monitoring, the market. So and this is something that I didn't have, and a lot of times I chalk it up to immaturity, just not being experienced enough. But I used to love to, anticipate the trade and just try and always be in a position. And, as I start to round almost a decade of doing this, I'm starting to finally get better at having more patience with the different stocks. And having more patience and not anticipating. Now, again, I'm okay with you anticipating a trade. However, let's just say that we go up, we make a new high, we come back down, we fail, and then we go back up. And at that spot, you take a short because you're expecting it to fail that level. I'm totally okay with that. But 2 things have to happen. Number 1, it's got to be a starter size. So like literally a 10% of like a normal starter position. And everybody says that their starters are starters and that they're small, but I know, because I'm the same way. My starter is really like 30% of my average position. Like I know. Like I get it too. You know, like we tell ourselves, oh, it's a starter. It doesn't matter. And then it starts going against it. We're like, fuck. Like I probably went a little too heavy into this. So you need to keep your starter. Like, let's just say your average position size is $100. It's got to be $5. Like that's like truly the type of size that I'm talking about here. Because two things is going to happen is that you're either not going to keep your stop close. So let's just say that you short at 396 because that's the high of the day, and your stop is 396.30, or it should be, you know. And
my fucking light just go off.
Yeah, it did.
Sick, dude.
And you didn't do that.
Yeah, dude, I'm not paying the bills, dude. Down market.
Yeah.
Just this
that
room,
side of the house.
Just this room.
Yeah, and your TV's on.
Fine.
Yeah.
No, I know my priorities, so I gotta keep my TVs on.
So, so I'm okay with you anticipating it, but if you're the type of person that's going to move your stop up, so let's just say your stop should be 396.20, and you're the type of guy that's going to move it to 396.50, you're going to move to 397. You're not the type of guy that can anticipate any kind of trades. You can't even touch it until there's confirmation that it's breaking below that key level. Or the other way that you can do it is that because that's the downside. Okay. Now the positive to anticipating a trade with like a super small starter is that if you're right, that's just going to add confidence. So you're going to, you're calling for it to fail here. So if you short and then it does fail, when it breaks down below that key level, that's just going to instill confidence. Again, even if it doesn't even pay you, and the second that you add to your average, the second that you add into your actual average, all it does is, bring it to where that key level was, as it should, because your actual starter is super small. All that's going to do is add confidence. And so that's why I'm okay with anticipating trades. I know that a lot of traders don't like to anticipate trades. And even me, you'll see me tweet, don't anticipate trades. And that's just because I don't think anybody that anticipates trades is truly going in with starter size.
All right, well, last topic is TD Ameritrade, dude. What the fuck? Why don't they like us anymore? What? I don't get it. We are all getting banned from fucking TD Ameritrade. Like, what did I do? Trade too good?
Did you get a reason?
I had to re-request my letter. It was sent to fucking my wrong address. I hadn't updated it. So that was real sick. Thanks, TD Ameritrade. I guess I'm going to Robinhood. Fucking assholes. It's okay. We had a good run. Made a lot of money on TDA. So shout out TDA. Sad I had to come to an end, but all good things do. I'm not going to cry because it's over. I'm going to smile because it happened.
I like that one.
Yeah, I think Dr. Seuss said it. All right, guys. Well, we hope you have a great weekend, and we will catch you on the flip side. Peace. Hey, guys, if you're tired of trimming your stocks too early, well, let me tell you something. Never worry about trimming anything early ever again with Manscaped. Let me tell you about their Performance Package 4.0. It comes with free boxers, a toiletry bag, and free shipping with a little discount when you use code PGIR. I mean, it comes with the razor you need, the sprays you need. I mean, dude, obviously, clearly I can't show you guys what's going on down there, but if I could, man, you guys would be amazed. Wireless charging, it's waterproof. Take it in the shower for all I care. I mean, it's going to get you right. It's got the light. Man, the Lawnmower 4.0 is the best trimmer I have ever used. And that's not all it comes with. It comes with hella other shit. Like the boxers. I mean, look, I get it. Not all of us are boxer guys. Give it to your girl. She'll like them too. But man, when it comes with the weed whacker, that shit's for your nose or ears. I mean, you could, God, Manscaped has something for every hole and crevice of your body. So make sure to use code PGIR on manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping. That's code PGIR on manscaped.com.
Pennies Going in Raw is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.